Hey everyone, this is Quentin Figueroa
And this is Jesse Gonzalez
with Truth Control, and we are going to be talking about energy today.
linking it to peacebeblessed.com. So we just want to relate to you or actually just talk about energy and how we perceive it our way and what we think you bring upon yourself by the energy you're sending out, either good or bad. We think that this world is based on a vibration, and in this world, there really isn't a way for things to happen. A lot of people say that things happen whether they be good or bad. A lot of people believe in the bad. A lot of people believe in the good. But what a lot of people fail to understand is that it's a vibration that you're sending out. With every thought and everything that you think about is sending out a vibration to the universe. And once you send that vibration out, it's going to give you what you're feeling. It's going to give you the same feeling back, the same vibration back to you.
Right.
So it's basically a vibrational universe based off of energy, and what you give out, you're going to receive. And so we're going to start the topic off with our thoughts and some of the books that we've read.
Yeah, because we talk about this stuff a lot, and we figured it'd be beneficial just to record it and share it with other people, so maybe they could kind of get something out of it. Because
we've gotten a lot out of it, so it's helped us in our lives, and it's really made it better. And so it's really all up to you. Years back when I wasn't very familiar with this, I guess they call it law of attraction, but it's very cliche, I guess, to call it that. And what we want to give you an understanding of is the fact that changing your thoughts really changes your way of life. So if you're going through some bad things, a lot of people, what they try to do is avoid it and put it in their back burner, and making that their main priority, their main dominant thought. When they're thinking about bad things, they're thinking, oh, I'm just going to forget about it. And what they're really doing is pushing it back and not releasing it. And I think that's what's holding a lot of people back in their vibrational liberation, if you might,
yeah, no, it's interesting. Because I kind of, I am into business. I have a business. I've built businesses. And it's funny because, some of the books I've read, well, one of the most popular business books of all time is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And in that book, he talks about how rich people have different words than poor people. Rich people think differently than poor people. And that's, going back to energy and vibration, it's going back to your thoughts and your intent and kind of what you're putting out to the universe. And he talks about how rich people, they think in terms of creating kind of the reality they want. So say they want to have, say they want to build a successful business. Rather than saying, I can't do that, they say, how can I do this, right? So they're building energy into the result they want, into how they can create something, rather than feeding the thoughts and feeding the vortex of, I can't do this, this won't work, I'm going to mess up, people aren't going to like what I'm doing, and all this type of thing. So it's like what you're saying, it's a different type of, you're just changing your thoughts. You're thinking in ways that create kind of what you want rather than thinking about what you don't want. Because the universe, it's an on-off switch. It doesn't discern between good or bad or between what you want or what you don't want. It's either on or off. And whatever you're thinking is on. And it's always flowing into that. And if you're thinking something bad, thinking something you don't want, that is what you're telling the universe that you want it to bring to you. And that is where all the energy is flowing.
And that's what I guess you would call your dominant thought. So let's say you're in a bad situation, something in your life is going bad for you, and you keep thinking about it. And a lot of people, what they do wrong, as I was saying previously, is that they try to push it back and they resist it. Instead of dealing with it and letting it go, it continues to harbor within their thoughts. And what happens is, if that's your dominant thought, that's what you're sending out. Every thought that you send out to the universe becomes a vibration. So the universe, as Quentin was saying, it's not an on and off, switch. It's always picking up what you're sending out. And the universe really doesn't communicate with the body as much as it does with your mind. So if you're thinking bad thoughts, the universe thinks that's what you want more of. So that's what it's gonna give you more of. And that's a lot of I think where a lot of people get stuck, is that they keep thinking about that dominant thought, whether it be a bad thought. So that's what they're bringing upon themselves. When if you switch it around and you find a better feeling thought, what you're going to see is that your life will start improving, because if you're giving more thought and more vibration to what you want to happen, whether if you want something real good to happen to you and you let go of those bad thoughts, you just don't put them in the back burner, but you release them. And once you release them, you're able to grasp into those good feeling thoughts. And those good feeling thoughts are going to bring you more good feeling thoughts. And therefore, they're going to create the reality that you actually want, and not the one that you don't want.
Now, this also ties in with forgiveness. Because, so say for instance, somebody is maybe like abused as a child or something, hideous like this. Now, this abuse and this kind of thing that happens, not necessarily of their own choosing, it goes with them, and they start to kind of carry it with them, and it's something that they build up in their mind deep there, and it's kind of like always in the back of it, and it's always something that kind of might hold them back, or that they might keep turning into fearfully or whatnot, just because it's happened at a young age, and it's something that they can't overcome. And now, if you go to any good counselor or like a spiritual teacher or somebody, they're going to teach you that the way to get rid of that isn't to keep thinking about it, or it isn't to try to force it away, or it isn't to get more angry about it. The way to get rid of it and to release it is to forgive. You need to forgive what happened, because as all spiritual teachers teach, there's nothing to forgive in the first place. And when you kind of can understand that forgiveness means that there's nothing to forgive in the first place, then you're actually able to now release something bad that has happened. And you're able to get away from having that dominate your thoughts and be like something that you're stuck in and that you keep feeding. You're able to forgive, to understand what happened, and you're able to now move on and focus on what you want. And you're able to just live your life and not hold on to something like that.
Correct. And the thing about forgiveness, though, is that I've heard this saying, which I think is one of the worst sayings ever. I forgive, but I don't forget. That is just not the way to do it. Because if you're forgiving something, you're releasing it completely to the universe. You're letting the universe take care of it. You're letting go completely. When you say, I forgive, but I don't forget, that means that you haven't released. So it's not taking you to any good place. It's only taking you back to square one. Yeah. And it's not the way to do it. I mean, everybody has their ways of doing things, but forgiveness is total forgiveness, because in this universe-based vibration universe, it's not about really forgiving, because in the bigger picture, we are all here as one, connected to the higher source, which many of us call God, whatever you choose to call it. But it's a vibrational universe. And when you start letting go of things, and when you just start to understand the bigger picture, you understand that you came here to this world to evolve. And evolving means that you took some adventures upon yourself. And some of them might be real bad things that happened to you in childhood. But if we really understood it better, we would understand that we kind of asked for it. And please don't judge me and say, oh, how can you say that is so, like, I didn't ask to be abused, and many things like that. But I read this good book by Carolyn Mays. And in it, she describes this woman that was abused when she was like 8 years old. And now this lady could not go on with her life. She was already like 59 years old, and she was still carrying that grudge, that same feeling. She couldn't get over it and everything. It only took like 10 minutes out of her childhood, and still at the age of 59, she was still holding on to something that had happened 50 years earlier.
Exactly. Something that took a few minutes of her life was affecting like decades of her life. It's like that's...
And she couldn't move on. And the thing about it is like, if she would have learned how to let go and just know that it happened and it's understood, it already happened. But when you continue carrying it on in your life, that same vibration is going to stick to you, and it's going to keep giving you the same things over and over. So forgiving means that you understand the bigger picture.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like a lot of us do look at it as things like this, like say abuse as a child or something. We'll look at it kind of as like a bad thing, or we'll see it as you're a victim or something like this. And maybe to a certain degree, maybe at like a physical level, that's understood. But when you look at it at a higher level, at like a spiritual level, and when you understand that you're choosing to be in this life, and you have certain reasons that you want to be here, and certain experiences you may want to go through, certain parents you might want to have, friends, things like this, we understand that these are more so choices, and these are more so experiences that are created for us to grow from, and for us to learn from, and for us to experience. And it's something for us to take our spirit in a way that it would have not otherwise gone through, right? So rather than living this same kind of cookie cutter life all the time, sometimes we want to step into a new territory for the sake of expansion in that way. We want to experience something different. We don't want to always do the same thing all the time. We don't want to always think the same way. We want to expand our consciousness. We want to see new experiences and try new things. And that's kind of how the universe and life works. It's always working towards expansion and new perspectives and viewpoints and things like this. So something like that with, abuse or something that we might perceive as bad, it might not necessarily be that way. And I think a lot of us know just in our everyday to-day lives and small things, a lot of the challenges we face, when we overcome them, right? Like you're studying for a math test, or something, you're trying to pass a test, you're trying to try out for a sports team or something, and you're practicing and you're going through kind of what might be seen as bad, right? You're struggling, you're figuring out ways to overcome something, but then when you reach the goal of overcoming it and you get where you want to be, you see that this hurdle wasn't necessarily a hurdle that was holding you back, but it was a step getting you to where you wanted to get.
It actually is your mind holding you back more so than anything. It's your mind that's actually putting you through that, because if you think about it this way, every problem already has a solution. At the moment that you think about a problem, it already has a solution. It's the same thing. Every question has an answer. Mm-hmm. So if you think about it that way, but what most of us do, I mean, including myself, I still struggle sometimes. It's like I overthink things and I start thinking and making it grow. So then I'm asking the universe, make it more problematic for me, because I'm putting that out there and the universe is saying, oh, this is what he wants. So, it's sending me more of that, when in reality, the solution is already there and I can't get a solution because I'm resisting. I'm resisting the answer. I'm pushing it back. And I'm thinking about that other dominant thought, the one that I don't want for it to come true. And I'm pushing against that. And so it's not coming to me. The answer's not coming because I'm pushing. I'm resisting. And
in a way, that's kind of, like I would say, it ties in with kind of wisdom and that type of thing. Because when you're, like wise people are generally seen as kind of more experienced, or they've kind of, they're not necessarily smarter, but like they understand things kind of at a higher level. And when we see things happening and we're getting kind of an answer that might be pushing us in a certain way, and at like the higher level, at the more wise level, the broad perspective, we kind of get it, but like our ego or our physical self kind of overrides that and it fights it. and it goes up against it to where it's not allowing the answer to come in, even though you know deep down that that answer is what needs to take place and needs to happen. But you're still fighting it at an ego level because you want to hold on to your pride.
I guess at that point you're calling it, you might want to call it a disconnection. If you don't feel a connection and it doesn't feel right, you're probably disconnected at that point.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people do that where they know what they need to do, but they don't do it. So they go through life in a lot of ways feeling kind of uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, because to me that's a disconnection right there. That they're not connected to their true selves. And I guess you bringing up the ego, we'll discuss that at another later topic, another of our shows. But ego interferes, and ego is basically your body, your physical world telling you can create your own world when we're already a created universe. We're already linked as one. And that disconnection comes from your physical self thinking that you can create your own world and that you're the only one that has the answer to you, when in reality you've already come to this world already with, per se, let's say, a contract with the universe, and you came knowing what you wanted to do and what to expect. So you were going to get those disconnections, and that's what makes the universe so unique. Mm-hmm. You get those disconnections to make you grow. But what a lot of people do when they're disconnected like that, they fall farther down rather than pick themselves up. They see the disconnection as their life, their disconnection to the universe as something that's they're not going to be able to come out of.
That's a part of them now.
Exactly. And so they are sending that feeling out to the universe.
And it becomes... It grows, right? It grows on them. And it becomes a part of them so long that that's now all they know, and they become kind of trapped in it, like that lady you were talking about.
Yeah, like a sinkhole. They throw themselves in a sinkhole so deep. And it's like, you don't have a ladder to climb back up. And in reality, it's all in your mind. It's all in your mind, and you getting out of that sinkhole will only take you changing your thoughts and sending out a new vibration.
Yeah, and in a way, like I wouldn't even necessarily see that as a bad thing. I'd see it as a sinkhole that they're choosing to want to kind of explore and go down in. It's like, I want to go deep into this sinkhole, into this like limited way of viewing reality, and explore this. And at some point, maybe then like kind of climb your way out or kind of look for something else. But it's just interesting.
I think it's also because we all as human beings have that knowing, because we're spiritual beings more than we are, body beings or human beings. But we all have that knowing. Each and every one of us has that knowing. No matter what anybody says, we all have that connection to that higher source. Quentin doesn't have it more than me, and I don't have it more than him. And so it's like we're all equal in this world. I mean, nobody's better just because, Quentin used the word poor and rich and poor. And it's all just, I guess, a way of thinking. And that's why poor people keep themselves poor, because they always think that they're poor. Rich people keep making more money because they're always thinking about making more money.
And abundance and that type of thing.
And it's abundant. They don't think about lack.
And it's not saying that poor is bad and rich is good. It's just saying that these are kind of realities that they're creating relative to what they're thinking. And there's not a right or a wrong way to do it. Being poor could be kind of your mission, and you could be learning tons of stuff and getting a lot out of it, where being rich could be something that's actually hindering your spiritual growth, and it might not be a good thing. So it's not saying rich good, poor bad. It's just saying you're going to get out of the world, out of reality, relative to kind of what you were thinking and creating internally.
And sending out with your thoughts. Because remember, a thought becomes a reality after 17 seconds. If I'm correct, that's what Abraham says in the Vortex, this book by Esther and Jerry Hicks. And it's every thought is becoming a reality. It's like I picture it myself as like a balloon where I keep putting more and more things, and the balloon keeps growing, and all my dreams are being put there, but they're not becoming my reality, like things that I really want or desire, because I keep putting resistant thoughts towards it. So in other words, it's like I'm not letting it come to me because I'm holding myself back on it. And nobody can hold you back from anything, only yourself. And when you start believing that, it really takes you to a different world. It's I've kind of created the world I've wanted, and I've gotten what I wanted, and now I realize when something is not going right, I understand that I'm creating that as well. And so I'm not judging anybody, I'm not blaming anybody, and I'm not even blaming myself. I just know that at that point I'm in the disconnection, and that I need to connect myself back to where I need to be.
Sure.
But I think we should close it out, and then we'll be bringing our second topic the next time that we come to you live from beautiful El Paso, Texas. And remember, don't let anybody tell you that you're not perfect, because to me, I think everybody in this world plays a part, and everybody's perfect in their own way. So, peacebeblessed.com.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a fantastic day, and we will see you again real soon.
Have a happy week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.